So you're looking to buy one of the best looking Corvettes out there. It was simple and to the point, unlike the C7 and C8, and I believe looks the most Corvette out of all the modern Corvettes. And unlike the C4 and some of the C5s, I think these are going to hold their value and never hit the lows you would see a C4 going for. I think when they took away the circle taillights on the newer Corvettes, that's when things went downhill design wise, because that is the staple feature of a Corvette. So again, if you're looking to buy one of these beauties, you're in the right place, because today we're going to be going over everything you need to know about the C6 Corvette, from the years, the trims, the common problems these cars have, rare parts you might find on one of these bad boys, and last but not least, the 5 rarest colors you can get to stand out from the rest of the crowd, so you can put that little paper up on your dash at the car show showing one of one. So the C6 was around from 2005 to 2013, and there's a whole list of things that changed over the years. Starting in 2005, the C6 Corvette came with a 6-liter LS2 V8 making 400 horsepower and 400 pound-feet of torque, with a near 50-50 weight distribution. Sounds like a deal already. And transmission-wise, this was available in 2 options, the T56 6-speed manual or the 4L65E 4-speed automatic. And this could either be bought as a convertible or a Targa roof. 2006, they swapped out that 4-speed for a 6-speed automatic, and they brought in the trims Z51 and Z06, which we'll talk about later. In 2008, they replaced the engine with the LS3. This added 0.2 liters of displacement, making the horsepower 436 and the torque 428, when spec'd with the optional dual mode exhaust system. This year, base Corvettes also got some creature comfort upgrades like keyless access, revised steering wheel, OnStar, and satellite radio. And after 2008, nothing really changed other than adding new trims and each trim having cool new parts, which is what we'll get into now. Trims. What trims could you get on a C6 Corvette? Well, there's a lot. Let's start with the 4 different LTs. 1LT, 2LT, 3LT, and 4LT. Pretty basic names, and you can pretty much think of these. 1LT is base, and 4LT is the most luxurious trim you can get, and 2LT and 3LT are in between. If you're looking for the lightest Corvette, then the 1LT is it, because this thing was bare bones. The 2LT had add-ons like side current airbags, adjustable lumbar, and side bolstering in the bucket seats. For the entertainment system, you got Bluetooth and steering wheel audio controls. Now the 1LT and 2LT are great because they're for the people that just want a Corvette. If you don't care about all the cool add-ons, if you just want the looks and the feel of a Corvette, buy one of these. They don't have the best resale value, and they'll never be the collector's item that a special edition would be, but they get you in the door. And since they don't command the high prices of other trims, it's great for people that just want their first sports car or just even a daily driver. Now the 3LT is what most people are going to want. The easiest way to tell if the Corvette you're looking at is a 3LT is if it has the heads-up display, but the 3LT also comes with a Bose 7-speaker audio system, heated seats, satellite radio, memory options for the seats and mirrors, and a power telescoping steering column. 4LT, the top trim, has a custom leather-wrapped interior, upper door trim panels, console storage cover, and the armrest has an improved padding. For me, I think the 3LT is a sweet spot though, because you have to pay extra money for special leather package. I mean, that's just a bunch of fluff. Another trim that you can add on top of the LTs is the Z51 Performance Package. This got you stiffer bushings, higher spring rates, and larger diameter Stax twin tube shocks. It also came with cross-drilled rotors and some Goodyear Eagle FISE tires, which, if these are the original ones that came on the car, you should probably replace them, so that's not even a pro, because those things are definitely dry rotted by now. And don't be one of those weird guys that says, it's one of one, it's got the original tires. Nobody cares about the damn tires. I bought this 1991 Miata off this old guy once, and it had the original tires. First thing I did was replace those, and the guy asked me if I wanted to keep the original tires at the tire shop, and I said throw them suckers away. If you're mad about that, hey man, you're just a little bit weird. Next trim, 2006 onward, is the Z06 trim. This is a trim that a lot of y'all are gonna want if you've got a little bit extra cash, because it comes with all the goodies. Not the goodies like a leather or like nice headlights that move around and crap. I'm talking about the goodies that make you go fast. This is a 7-liter LS7 V8 making 505 horsepower and 475 pound-feet of torque. It also has carbon front fenders, a wide body rear end, 14-inch brakes with 6-piston calipers up front, magnesium front subframe, and its own cold air intake scoop on the front bumper. And if you're gay, I'm sorry to tell you, it only comes in a manual. In 2009, the ZR1 came out, which is the most expensive variant you could get back then and still now. This came with a supercharged 6.2 liter V8 called the LS9, making 638 horsepower and 604 pound-feet of torque. It also came with carbon ceramic brakes, ZR1 specific gearing, magnetic selective ride control, and a bunch of carbon fiber panels. I mean, look at this thing. This was GM's fastest car at the time, reaching 205 miles per hour. And again, this only came in a manual. And this year you could also start looking for the Grand Sport, which is pretty much a Z06 without the LS7 in it. They also loosened up on the rules here for this trim, so you could get this as a Targa or a convertible, and you could also get this as an automatic. So if you only got one leg and you still want a C6 Corvette, this is a trim for you. And you might think I'm lying, but I literally met a guy who had one leg and drove a C6 Corvette Grand Sport daily driver, and he took me for a ride in it. He was a nice guy, great guy, but he couldn't help it. He had one leg, and I'm so glad they made a trim for people like him, because everybody deserves, if they got the money, to buy a near top trim Corvette. But if you got two legs, no excuses, you should be driving a manual. I guess unless you got one arm. Those are pretty much all the trims that you could get. Now that we got the trims out the way, let's hop into the common problems you're gonna wanna look out for when checking out the C6 Corvette you wanna buy. So you get to the guy's house, what are you gonna be looking for here? These are in no particular order, but they're all important things you need to make sure work before buying this car. Because most likely if there's common problems that have not been fixed, there's probably more problems that haven't been fixed that aren't common. So, the first one on the list is the power steering rack either leaking or needing new seals. This is caused just because the tires on the Corvette are wide, so the power steering rack has to work extra hard for the car to turn, and over time it just goes bad. This is one of the more simpler things to fix, but if the C6 Corvette you're looking at does have a leaking power steering rack, just use that as a way to bargain down the price if it wasn't previously stated. Now, this is one that you might overlook if you don't know about it, but it's the telescoping steering column. The reason why I say you might overlook this is because you might say, oh, I'm just test driving this car, I'm not actually buying it, so I'm not going to change the steering wheel positioning. Well, you better, because this is one of the main things that go bad on these cars, and it could be expensive. So try it every which way, up, down, forward, back, diagonal, whatever way you want. Just make sure everything works smoothly. Now, one of the most costly things you're going to want to look out for is if the harmonic balancer is wobbling. What you're going to want to do is open up the engine bay, look down, and look at the harmonic balancer while another person inside the car turns it on, and just make sure that it is not wobbling. Now, if it's wobbling the tiniest bit, that could be excusable, but if it looks bad, it looks bad. And to get this replaced at a GM dealership is $1,000. Now, if you do it yourself, you're in for a day's work and some bloody knuckles. Either way, it's not fun, and you should definitely get the price knocked down $1,000. Another costly repair that's kind of a pain in the ass is damage to the radiator mounting cage. So pretty much what happens is, since these cars are pointing up front and they're lower to the ground, there's a high probability that the nose of the front bumper will get scraped and possibly pushed back, and when that happens, it can break away from the supports, causing the front bumper to sag. If this happens to be one of the problems on the Corvette you're looking at, I would also deduct $1,000 if it wasn't previously stated. Now, if you're buying a convertible, if the convertible top does not fully go forward or back, or your windows do not go up and down, this might be because the little plastic gears that make these go up and down are made of plastic. And over time, even if this is a low mileage car, just because of age, the plastic gears will deteriorate. The only way to fix this is take the damn plastic gears out, these cheap Chinese crap, change it out for some metal gears, which are probably still made in China, but you'll never have the problem again. Now, when test driving the car, make sure that you don't hear a whirring noise coming from the wheel wells. If you do hear this, it could be the wheel bearings. Those commonly go bad in the earlier years, and it could turn into a hefty repair because you should do all of them at the same time if one is already going bad. And the last common issue you need to be worrying about if you're looking at buying a drivable C6 Corvette is that for some reason with these cars, the pressure plate on the clutch does not fully release due to a bad master cylinder, and this can cause grinding synchros or high RPM lockouts. The way to test this is jack up the rear of your car, push the clutch in, and rev the car and see if the wheels spin. If the wheels spin, you got a problem and you need to replace that master cylinder. I would recommend going with the TIC Performance Master Cylinder. I heard a lot of good things about it, but if you do see this on the car, you want to make sure you get the price down, because you not only have to replace the master cylinder, but there's a good chance you also might have to replace the synchros if they're already grinding, or the clutch if it's burnt out. Now, if you're looking for a deal and you're looking for one of those cars that don't work and you need to fix it up, well, then I also got a couple common problems for you there too. Most of these have to do with the automatic transmission, so we'll start with those first. The ad says a car cannot get out of park. It could be because the solenoid that locks these cars can get gummed up, or just a solenoid failing in general for the automatic transmission. Also, these transmissions have a shifter connector that's made out of nylon, and this can break, causing your shifter to have no tension at all. The last thing I want to talk about is a service charging system warning. If this is showing up on the car you're looking at and the car does not start, probably because one of the connectors to the starter just broke off. And if he's one of those guys who's just freaking out about it and needs to sell it right now because it doesn't work and he's scared it's going to cause a lot of problems, well, you got yourself a good deal then, because this is a really easy fix. Now that we got the common problems out of the way, let's hop into the rare parts. And since this car is made in America, there's not necessarily any rare parts, but there are a lot of rare trims that you want to look out for if you're one of those collectors that just wants something a little bit more special than an already special car. First one on the list is the 2007 Ron Fallows ALMS GT1 Championship Edition. Now, I don't really like Canada, so this is saying a lot, but man, this color scheme is pretty. You'll notice one of these right off the bat because it's going to have white paint with red Grand Sport style stripes on the front fenders and red and silver hash style stripes similar to the livery on the winning car. The interior of these is also going to be red, and 399 of these were made. Next one on the list is the ZHZ. These were developed for the Hertz Rental Corporation, and 500 target tops in 2008 and 350 convertibles were produced in 2009 total. And this is one of those special editions that you could just mistaken as a base car. You take that little badge off the side of it and the stripe going down the hood, and you got yourself a run-of-the-mill yellow C6 Corvette. On top of that, those wheels are hideous. For 2009, you're looking at the GT1 Championship Edition. This is a ZHZ's prettier sister. The stripe down the hood is unique. It's a Z06, and you got different flags on the roof with an American flag in front of them on the hood. This thing is actually a collector's edition. All of these are 4LT cars. These either came in a Velocity Yellow or a Gloss Black, which was based off the winning C6.R, and there's only 125 of these out there. Then for 2011, you're going to be looking for the Z06 Carbon Limited Edition. I can already hear you squealing through the screen because it said carbon. Every car guy's favorite aesthetic performance mod.
Carbon fiber, carbon fiber, carbon fiber, carbon fiber.
This edition came in two colors, Inferno Orange and Supersonic Blue. These came with black headlamps, 01 style spoiler, a carbon fiber hood, black carbon fiber rockers and splitters, and then on the inside you got a mix between ebony and suede leather with body color matching stitching. Under the hood you got a special carbon engine cover, and in the wheel wells you got 20 spoke 19-inch wheels with ZR1 carbon ceramic Brembo brakes, and 252 of these units were produced. Lastly, for 2012, they had the Centennial Edition. This came out as celebration for 100 years of Chevrolet racing heritage. This was exclusively sold in carbon flash metallic, also known as black with a crap ton of pearl in it. This edition included satin black graphics, lightweight aluminum black wheels that had a red ring around them. All of these came with red calipers, and the interior was beautifully done again with ebony and suede leather. The headrests have a custom logo, and the steering wheel says Louis Chevrolet 100. Now that we got all the rare trims out of the way, let's hop into the 5 rarest colors that you can get for your C6 Corvette. Number 5 on this list, you should be no stranger to because we just talked about this. It is the carbon flash that was offered on the Centennial Edition, also known as Twinkle Toes. So this is the 2012 only color, and they made 2,226 of these. You'll really like this color if you're into the new trend of a crap ton of sparkle in anything you paint, because this is exactly what this color is. It's definitely an interesting color, it's unique, and it's a special edition, but at the end of the day, it's just black. It would have been cooler if it was a crap ton of sparkle on a different color. Number 4 on this list is Millennium Yellow, and this is exactly what you would expect from a yellow car. In other companies, it's called Solar Yellow. You could also say this is Taxi Cab Yellow. Whatever you want to call it, it's yellow and it's bright. It's not one of my favorites for this car, but it definitely does make you stand out from the crowd. Put a black stripe on it, and there you go, you got the ZHZ edition. And this color was only available in 2005. Number 3 on this list, we have Precision Red. This was a 2005 only color, and they made 1,303 of these. This is a neat, I would say neat, that's the perfect word for it, because it's not cool, it's not lame, it's neat. It's like a darker shade of just the bright red that you'd see on a lot of Corvettes. So it's a little bit different than the norm, but at the end of the day, I think it would look a lot better if it was candy apple red. I know that's an overhyped color now, but I think it would look a lot better in that color than just this kind of darker red. It's just not one of my favorites. Number 2 on this list. This is one of my favorite colors right here. It's called Carlisle Blue, and it is one of those colors that is just a tad bit girly. But on a sharp and big car like the Corvette, it looks perfect. If it was on like an MR2 Spider, if it was on an S2000 or a Porsche, some people might infer some things about you, but on a big car like the Corvette, I don't know why, it just looks really, really good. It will definitely stand out, and it is definitely a looker. For the number 1 rarest color on this list is Torch Red, and you might be thinking that is a common color for the C6 Corvette. You are right, 2010 plus, it's very common. You won't stand out from the crowd. But if you have a 2005 version of this car, from 2006 to 2009, they didn't make a single one of these. So you are a one of one Torch Red in 2005. Only one made 2005, and then they did not make it again until 2010 in mass production. And I think this is the classic Ferrari or classic Corvette, whatever you want to call it, the classic sports car color. It looks great on the Corvette. And if you want to have something rare that nobody else knows is rare, there's your car right there. The one of one Torch Red 2005 Corvette. Get a build sheet window sticker for this guy. So hope you guys did enjoy this video on the buyer's guide on the C6 Corvette. If you have any other ideas for videos, leave that in the comments down below. Make sure to join the Discord, like and subscribe to the channel, and I will see you guys on the next one. Peace out.